folks, I'm going to do a full demo of creating a ticket with MGDT. The one we did at Vision, you really couldn't see what was going on very well, so this will give you a better indication. Now, MGDT is an online data suite that allows you to put all of the diagnostic data from all of the pieces of equipment in your company into one online secure location. And this gives you the ability to not have to chase your tools around to try to get the data off of them. Especially helpful if, like me, you have multiple people in multiple places. Makes it kind of hard when a piece of equipment's in another town to put a USB stick in it to get the data, and your people don't have to email stuff back and forth or anything like that. So this makes everything really seamless as far as uploading your diagnostic data and doing your reporting, and I'm going to show you how it works. On the server side, there's a management program called Mobile Guys Documentation Toolbox, and here's what it does. So I'm going to create a new job. I'm going to choose my technician. My technician was Elijah. All right, and the shop was going to be guy who does it cheaper automotive. All right, so here's my shop, and I'm going to choose my tool. Now, when I load my tool, it's going to pull up a browser that shows all of the scan reports that are in the server for that tool. In this case, it's a demo account. I only have just this Acura MDX, which is my mother-in-law's. So when I select it, all right, it's going to read the scan report, and it's going to pull out when the job was done, VIN, customer name, year, make, model automatically, all right? And it's going to ask me, do I want to create the job folder under the shop, guy who does it cheaper automotive, and then customer name, year, make, model, and VIN? Yes, we do. All right. So we created our directory. Now we're going to choose what we did. The services table is organized in how often it's used. So the more frequently you use something, notice millimeter wave radar is right at the top, seat weight sensor, seatbelt inspection. This kind of stuff that we use frequently is going to stay at the top. This being an Acura, we're going to also add an all sensor. Notice the partial searching, so you don't have to go through the whole list. You just start typing what you want, and it'll pop up. Once you have your services that you performed selected, just close that. It'll show a list of everything that was done up here. All right. Now we're going to find files. Now, the Find Files browser will search the server, your online server of all of your jobs done from all the equipment in your company. It'll search that database for this VIN on this given day when that job was done. So I have the root selected right now, so it's showing every tool. If I want to, I can individually go in and look at people's tools reports or their screenshots. But in this case, I usually just leave it in the root. That way I can hit automatic find, and it's going to automatically load everything that's in the server for that VIN. All right. Now, incidentally, this particular vehicle, I uploaded this later, so it doesn't automatically select. I'm going to select this picture as well. I'm going to copy files. All right. Files are copied. We're done. All right. So now we've got our job, all of our data from all of our pieces of equipment associated with this job. There's our scan report. There's our picture. There's all of our programming laptop screenshots from IHDS. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead. One thing to pay attention to here is when it loaded guy who does it cheaper automotive, it also loaded their template. So what their template does is, notice down here, it's starting a write-up for what we did. And it's all done with templates. You can adjust and make these say anything you want to say. Now, I tend to keep most of my stuff from my collision repair very, very canned. I say pretty much the same thing every time. So this saves me an awful lot of typing. So I've done that. All right. I'm going to create document. And it's working on it. There it is. It created the document. It's going to drop it into the top. Okay, there it is on your letterhead, prepared for guy who does it cheaper automotive, their address, the customer name, year, make, model, VIN, successfully, and like I said, I find my stuff being very canned most of the time, unless it's some sort of a weird diag or something, in which case you want to change it. All you have to do is type in, like say there was a diag situation on this. I would typically type something like that. So let's say, oh crap, I already generated the report. I forgot that I made a wiring repair or there was a diagnostic situation. Okay, well, I just typed that in. I'm just going to click create document again. What it's going to do, it'll just overwrite the one it already did. And you'll notice it'll drop it right in at the top. There you go. There's our amended one with the service poor connection, blah, 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 blah. So there's our write-up. There's all of our data for our job. Okay, well, I don't really like this. This is sideways. So what we're going to do, we're going to edit this. All right, we're going to edit this picture. And I don't like that the customer's license plate is here. So we're going to mark it up. And we'll just color out the customer's license plate. Just because I don't want that in there. So I'm going to hit save. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. Okay, so there we fixed our capture. Now, if you don't maybe like the order something's in, you can use the arrows and move individual screenshots up and down if you happen to, like I like my final ADAS scan to be at the end, my Autel ADAS scan. Incidentally, on this car, I guess I forgot to grab it, which I tend to do. But at any rate, I usually move my final ADAS scan that shows all the ADAS systems to the bottom. But there we go. Once we have our data compiled, we're going to hit merge. And what it's going to do is it's going to take everything we've selected for this job and scrunch it together into one small compressed PDF that we can attach to our telemetric, or we can attach to our Rev ADAS, which is what I use. I just upload that with my insurance-ready documentation, and it's good to go. So do we want to see it in the job directory? Sure, why not? All right. So here's my report. All right, so there's my final report to attach to my Rev ADAS. But this process used to take me about a half an hour by the time I chased all the tools with USB sticks, wrote the write-up, went through, marked up all the captures, all that kind of stuff. But this entire directory was built in the time we've been doing this video. This folder wasn't here when we started. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now, something that's interesting, when you close this, all right, it's going to ask, do you want to save the job? Yes, we do. Okay, when we save the job, it drops it right back up in here. Guy who does it cheaper automotive. Where'd it go? Guy that does it cheaper automotive. Here's our job. All right, here's what we did. So we can use this for payroll. You can actually sort this by custom dates, like, for example, your payroll dates. All right, and then you can maybe type in a technician name. You might type in, you want to see the jobs Elijah did. So there we go. There's the jobs that Elijah did. All right, and you can set a custom time frame. All right, so if you wanted to go through, use that for payroll, I've done it that way. The other way that I'll do payroll, okay, is I will do this. I will export jobs to CSV, and that will export all of the jobs in the job list here that have been performed to a CSV that you can then sort. You can use it for efficiency tracking. It gives you all the data you need right at your fingertips. The beauty of this is using your scan reports. So if you get in one of those situations where one of your techs goes to a body shop, for example, and they go for one car, and all of a sudden the shop gives them two more, sometimes my guys forget to tell me that. And I've had tickets that didn't get invoiced until much later because I didn't even know that that job existed. MGDT allows you to have an online spot where all of the scan reports for every tool are. So you can individually go through each scan report, look at the VIN, type it in QuickBooks, and make sure that there's an invoice associated with it. You'd be amazed how much there isn't. Something we're working on right now for MGDT is reconciliation from scan reports and invoices with QuickBooks. So what it will do is there will be a function that you can run, and it will actually take your QuickBooks and look at what all the VINs are in your QuickBooks and compare that to the scan reports that there are, and it'll actually pop up a list that shows everything where there is a scan report, but there isn't a QuickBooks invoice, so that you can keep track of all your stuff and make sure everything's getting invoiced. As you get bigger, or at least what I've found is I have a hard time keeping up with that sometimes. Guys, thank you so much for staying with me and for following along, and we'll catch you in the next one.